have made it, again, is it just me or just the years, they seem like going really fast. I feel like we were just here doing this last year, which means we're doing the work and we're doing it every year. So we're back. So that's a great thing. Well, welcome to City Hall, People's House in Columbia. I'm the city manager, Teresa Wilson, and always just feel joy when we have this event and I look out and I see this sea of red and all these beautiful people in red. Thank you for your commitment to our community and what it means to come together for certain causes. And of course, bringing awareness to heart disease is a cause that we all must champion because in some way or another it affects every single one of us if you think about it, whether it's yourself personally or a family member or a friend. And so the City of Columbia will remain dedicated to doing this every year and gathering to kick off hopefully what will be a month and on into the ongoing months of events that bring awareness. So with that, we will get started. And I will call our photo op to order with a first greeting and special presentation by our Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Will Brennan. Mayor Ricketman cannot be here today, but he's already been up here earlier this morning doing some promos, so he's very much so still engaged and aware and very much so a champion for this cause. Mayor Pro Tem Brennan.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wilson. Lots of red out there. You're right. American Heart Association. Thank you for everything you do for us. Keeping us educated on the importance of heart health. Self-care is great health care. And so I guess I've been on City Council 5 years and didn't really know a lot about this event. But Ms. Wilson, with your leadership over the last years, have really taken it upon myself to take care of my health. So heart issues are in the family history. So that was interesting to learn. And so have been going to see doctors regularly, and the cholesterol's in manageable time frame now. So that's good. And it wouldn't have happened without taking responsibility for your own health. So I think that's so important. And that is the continued message that we as a city need to keep getting out to our citizens in partnership with the American Heart Association. So again, this has been going on for many, many years. Every year we hold this event in partnership with the American Heart Association to help raise awareness for heart health here in the city, in the county, and in the Midlands. Unfortunately, we all probably know that heart disease is the #1 killer for women in our country. And we want to remind people in our community to go to the doctor. Take care of yourself. Get checked out, especially for heart disease. The American Heart Association provides resources and information about different heart diseases to help educate the community and to limit risk. So with that, Executive Director Tankersley, I'd like to run through this long proclamation, so please bear with me. It's full of wonderful facts that I hope we can take forward into our communities. Educate your neighbors. It's very important that they hear about this. Whereas cardiovascular disease affects men, women, and children of every age and race in the United States. From 2020 to 2021, deaths from heart disease increased by 3.3%, the largest increase in heart disease deaths since 2012. And stroke deaths increased in the same period by 6%. About 700,000 people died from heart disease in 2023. That's 1 in every 5 deaths. Cardiovascular disease continues to be the leading cause of death in the U.S. And whereas, there's always a lot of whereases and proclamations, remember that. According to 2022 data, roughly $400 billion is spent on heart disease annually in the United States. This includes the cost of healthcare services, medicine, and lost productivity due to death. And whereas individuals in the U.S. have made great progress in reducing the death rates for cardiovascular disease, but this progress has not been more modest with respect to the death rate for cardiovascular disease in women and minorities. And whereas cardiovascular diseases are the #1 killer of women in the U.S., causing 1 in 3 deaths per year, and killing more women than all forms of cancer combined. And cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of maternal death in the U.S. And more simply put, heart disease is the #1 killer of new moms. Women are also more likely than men to have no symptoms of coronary heart disease, and doctors are less likely to refer women for testing. And whereas income disparity is a factor in heart diseases in South Carolina, along with other social determinants of health, people with lower incomes have higher health risks for cardiovascular disease. Whereas women, especially Black and Hispanic women, are disproportionately impacted by heart disease and stroke, and research shows heart attacks are on the rise in younger women. Yet younger generations of women, Gen Z and millennials, are less likely to be aware of their greatest health threat, including knowing the warning signs of heart attacks and strokes. And therefore I, Daniel J. Rickaman, Mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, along with my fellow members of City Council, do hereby proclaim February 2025 to be National Heart Month. So thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it over to the Heart Association.
I have folded my paper into a very small square. Okay. All right, I am Lizzie Tankersley. I'm the Executive Director for the Midlands American Heart Association. And on behalf of the American Heart Association, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the City of Columbia for honoring National Wear Red Day with this proclamation. Your recognition helps to raise awareness of heart disease, particularly its impact on women, and encourages our community to take proactive steps toward heart health. As a survivor of heart disease myself, this day and all of your support means more to me than you'll know. We are truly grateful for the city's commitment to supporting this important cause this year and always. The proclamation serves as a reminder of the critical work still needed to reduce the risks and increase education around cardiovascular health. We just celebrated 100 years since the American Heart Association's founding in 1924. The great news is that means that we have 100 years of life-saving research on heart disease in men. Unfortunately, due to restrictions with the federal government, we weren't allowed to include women in this research until 1993. That's only about 30 years of research that's representing women. The American Heart Association's Go Red for Women movement is why we have these last 30 years, and why women can look forward to a brighter future of longer and healthier lives. Today, we will have the opportunity to hear from Kim Smith, our board president. Kim is the founder and CEO of Health Evolved Technologies, an organization focused on health equity that was inspired by her own personal journey. She has a miraculous story of survival that I am sure will leave you all speechless. Thank you again to the City of Columbia for your partnership, your leadership. Together, we can inspire change and make a lasting difference in the fight against heart disease. Thank you. Oh yeah, you're up. Yeah, you're up.
We're here with you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Kim's so good she didn't even need paper.
Oh, I did not. So now the pressure's on. So this is such an incredible day. And so many of us are impacted by heart health, which is why the room is filled with red. And to be honest, why the city should be overflowing with red today. Don't you agree? So it's okay to text someone and say to change clothes if they did not get the memo. And so it is an honor. It is an honor to serve as the board president of the Midlands chapter of the Midlands chapter of the American Heart Association. All of us are somehow connected to a heart story. I'm going to share a little bit of mine to give perspective. Earlier, it was mentioned that heart disease is still the #1 killer for women, and also one of the top killers, number one killer for those in birth. In fact, those that have a complicated pregnancy, if you survive a complicated pregnancy, you're twice as likely to develop heart disease later in life. So it's important to address those breadcrumbs of maternal morbidity, as well as we think about the long-term health impact of why we're here today. So for me, my journey with heart health started, it'll be 13 years ago next month. I was pregnant with my first daughter. We were very excited to give birth to a baby girl. We had a gender reveal party and people came from out of state to celebrate with us. But 2 weeks later, things shifted. I was leaving rural South Carolina, Manning, South Carolina, visiting loved ones on my husband's side. And as we pulled up in the driveway, around 10 o'clock at night, I got this unbelievable pain in the upper right side of my belly. It was so painful that I could no longer move. And after calling Lexington Medical Center, the physician on call, we knew we needed to rush to the hospital. At the hospital, while in and out of consciousness, I knew we were doing an ultrasound, and by the second ultrasound, our daughter, at 5.5 months pregnant, where I was, her heart stopped beating. Her heart stopped beating because I was experiencing HELLP syndrome, which is a very, very rare hypertensive disorder of pregnancy. In fact, it's life-threatening. At 29 years old, I was on the verge of having a stroke and dying. So I truly believe that I'm a walking, talking miracle. What's important to understand about this journey is that, one, I had an incredible team of physicians and nurses that knew what to do. And that's important. They equipped me with the tools and skills, right, of how to navigate. And of course, my faith was very strong in that journey. And we were able to go on and have 3 very healthy and lively boys that I refer to as the Smith boys. So they had made up. But even this morning, my five-year-old Austin told me, you know, I wish you hadn't gotten sick. He picked up on conversations. I wish you hadn't gotten sick because I would like a sister. And how can we avoid people getting sick? And I almost became overwhelmed thinking about how critical the work is that we all do every day so that stories like mine aren't continuing to be seen long term. I mentioned earlier that those that survive a complicated pregnancy are twice as likely to develop heart disease. So for me, when I turned 39, when I was an executive with UNC, I went into one of my cardiology offices and I was encouraged to do a checkup because of stress. And from a calcium CT to all types of things just to be proactive, I felt like I got almost VIP treatment with being proactive with preventing what could occur at age 60. So yes, I have a full care team with primary care, a cardiologist, focused on nutrition to ensure that I'm proactive in my journey because what happened at 29 can impact something that happens at 79. So as we think about today, not to be discouraged, but as we think about today, I want to encourage you to think of one person in your life that you love. Maybe they don't fully understand what might be happening in their body. Maybe there's some signs and some risk factors they've watched or pushed to the side that lends itself to heart disease or something to think about that no one really talks about. I encourage you to have just one conversation today. Yes, send a text, but have a conversation where you share what you understand that was shared in the proclamation about risk factors, and one thing they would agree to do, right, to partner with you on their journey toward optimal health. So can we all agree to do that today? Yes. Thank you so much. It has been an honor. And with that, I'll turn it back over to our city leadership.
Isn't Kim a blessing? Let's give her another round. I certainly can relate to Kim's testimony, and sometimes it's hard and it takes you a minute to get to the point to share and give that testimony, but when you do, we do realize it's a blessing to others, and just even those small tidbits of how, you know, you wouldn't have thought during a pregnancy how it could be impactful or there would be certain signs or symptoms, and so just her sharing her story means everything. 2014, I had my first bout with atrial fibrillation, which is what most people hear about maybe later in life. And so since that time, as I've been able to begin to share more about that and the medications that I'm on, thanks to our caregivers, like Kim said, who maybe help us find things out when we find them out earlier, so that later in life we can have a long-standing health. And it's okay to be on the medication. It's okay to go get the scans. It's okay to have a caregiving team around you. And I encourage all of you, as Kim said, to think about that. Think about that for yourself, what that means. If you're feeling some kind of way and you're pushing it to the side, don't do that. And remember those in your life who you think may not be thinking about that as well. Encourage them to take even a baby step to just look into how they're feeling and why they may be feeling that way. Mr. Brennan didn't know this, but one of the pictures that I love, and we take lots of pictures around here, y'all, at the city is from last year's Heart Walk that we did, a city manager's Heart Walk, and he walked with us over to the State House, and he said something when he first started talking about it was those touch points, which I didn't know this, that got him thinking about his own heart health. So that meant a lot to me just now when you shared that. And so I'm really encouraging all of our policymakers and council members to look at their health, because they do a lot. They're moving about a lot. They're giving a lot and serving. And it's hard because it's a lot of time and energy, and they do need to think about their own health first. I want to thank City Councilwoman Tina Herbert, who's here, Councilman Tyler Bailey, who's here, and I know all of our council is very supportive of these efforts. Just like at Richland County, we have Councilwoman Gretchen Barron, who's here too, and I know the county's going to be doing some great activities this month as well. So speaking of some of those activities, we will have our second annual Jumpstart Your Heart Day Party tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Drew Wellness Center. And this is a family-friendly event with fitness lessons as well as nutritional vendors that can help show you how to live a heart-healthy lifestyle at any age, from our babies to our seniors. And the vendors and events include P-Ball and Jamie Scott Fitness. They'll be teaching fitness lessons as well as Zumba and yoga from our very own Drew Wellness instructors. We'll have Prisma Health. I think I see our Prisma Health ladies, Catherine and Regina back there. We'll be providing free health screenings. Midlands Orthopedic and Neurosurgery and Stretch Lab will be providing free massages and stretch sessions as well as so much more. So you all please feel free to come out to this event tomorrow at Drew Wellness. And as I mentioned, we will have our second annual City Managers Go Red Heart Walk on March the 14th. We will meet at 10:30 a.m. this year at City Hall. Okay, last year we were well down the street before we had to go to the State House, but this year our wonderful staff here at the city, they challenged me. I'm for it, I think. I'm here. We're going to start at City Hall and walk down to the State House to continue to raise awareness for heart health in our community. And I really must say that between Lizzie and the American Heart Association team and our internal city team, when you tell people that, you know, you're about something, they really, what does the kids say, these volunteers be volunteering? I mean, they just really take it on. Like, I'm like, okay. I didn't know we were doing all of this, but I'm here for it. Delita Alford, where are you? Yeah, Tori, okay. I see you ladies, but yes, they are all about it, and it's a good thing, and I appreciate and love them dearly.